I'd like to introduce to you the idea of the entitlement trap. And the reason I'm bringing up the entitlement trap is because it's something that we live under constantly throughout our lives, often without knowing it. And the reason we don't know it is that often we are forced into it or funneled into it by various outside factors, such as commercialism, such as upbringing, or such as simply the need for politicians to sell us some idea which can help keep us vulnerable. So what is entitlement at its essence? Well, the reason I'm bringing up entitlement is because I feel that it is one of those major limitations that has been inserted into our lives and our minds almost unconsciously. So from the day we're born to the day we die, we are sold to by people and institutions and commercial ventures that want to get something back from us. Think about the myriad messages that you've received throughout your life, in which the male figure in any household has tended to be a bit of a dunderhead. All the adverts featuring men who can't operate basic machinery, being rescued by women who seem to know somehow better. Am I just making this up? I don't think I am. Why don't you check it out for yourself? So we're living in a paradigm in which empowered females are rising to the top in terms of public consciousness. But what is being sold to us is the idea of disempowered males, or that we should be engaged in activities which is going to redress the balance. There's nothing wrong per se with redressing the balance, and there's nothing wrong per se with providing equality of outcomes to other people. That's not the point. The point I'm raising is that in order to address inequalities, it seems that somebody has to be featured as the fall guy, and often that is the likes of us. So the problem with entitlement is that because people want to sell you things, you are raised with the idea that you are entitled to things, which you're not necessarily. You're not entitled to something you can't afford, but that's okay because somebody will lend to you. So on the basis that you can be lent to, people can then advertise to you in such a way as to make it irresistible to you. And the only way that they can do that is by encouraging you to feel entitled. But entitlement is exploitation of an infantilized mind. It signifies that people have special ideas about themselves which aren't necessarily true. And it also creates a condition under which you are now considering your emotional needs to be paramount. Then you are emotionally vulnerable to other ideas. The emotional ideas may be political, they may be about acquisitions or consumerism, or they may be about social attitudes. But what you're going to do is find yourself being dictated to emotionally all the time. Most people consume without subscribing. I do it myself regularly with other channels, so I understand. But if you do get an opportunity to hit the bell, or hit a like, or make a comment, or subscribe, hey, there are 4 choices, 4 ways that you can make this old man happy. So the problem with an entitled mindset is that you are now fueled solely by your emotions. And of course, we've discussed previously that being fueled by emotions is not the way forward. Being fueled by emotions means that you are vulnerable, suggestible, and open to manipulation. So what we have to do is we have to get over that narcissistic tendency to believe that we're entitled. We have to lose the spoiled mindset, and we have to stop acting like toddlers in a supermarket next to the lolly stand. And the way to do that is to realize on any given day, at any given time, that you are not entitled. This doesn't mean you can't strive for things. It doesn't mean that you can't get things that you have worked for. But there's a big difference between working for something and being entitled to it. If you're prepared to work for something, that means that you've set out your stall and you've worked out what your goals are. and you're working towards something tangible. And you may have rationalized and worked out properly what it is you seek to achieve. And having worked out what it is that you seek to achieve, you can then strive for that thing. That's not the same as being entitled or believing on an emotional level simply because you want it, you should get it, which belongs to an emotional 4-year-old. We're not at home to our emotional 4-year-old. So what you have now is a majority of people who are locked into the notion of entitlement. And so it becomes a societal norm that in order to shake this off, you have to start becoming part of the 5%. The 5% of people who have woken up and realized that in order to improve, they have to work at it. And once you realize that this delusion that you've been sold for so many years is in fact a delusion, then you can start to build your own stack, and you can start to build and develop your own personal autonomy. So take that first step. Reject entitlement in all of its forms. You are not entitled to unconditional love. You're not entitled to that Ferrari. You're not entitled to the house on the hill. But you can work for those things. And once you stop believing that you're entitled to those things, you will stop being jealous of people who have them. And according to Shakespeare, as we know, envy is the green-eyed monster that mocks the beat it feeds on. So, liberate yourself from these notions of entitlement. Liberate yourself from envy or greed, and start to develop your own stack. Start to develop your own personal autonomy. And if you like this idea, drop me a comment, and I'll see you later.